Alex. How's it going?
Yo, what is up, son? How's it hanging?
It's been a while. How's it been over there in Colorado?
Man, it's been a little chilly, dog, but you can feel the heat, though. It's almost fight week, son. Let's go.
Yeah, and so like right now you're in Colorado. Like, are you glad that you're not in Texas with the snowstorms over here?
Man, how crazy is that shit? I was actually just talking to my buddy about that. It would be wild to be, yeah, in Texas right now and have a fight next week. You know, they were without power for 3 days, zero produce going to the grocery stores because the roads were iced over. I mean, it's been wild over there. So, you know, yeah, God bless those in
Hmm.
Texas, and hopefully we're starting to get better now with the weather change. But it was crazy, crazy week for sure, man.
Hmm. When's the last time that you were in San Antonio?
Uh, Shortly after the last fight, so I try to go over there for a week or so, you know, in between. So obviously I've only had one fight, but over the holidays I was there. And then after that last fight, I went back just to get some ground time with my main jiu-jitsu coach, Jason Harrington, back home. And then also just to reconnect with the guys, help out with my gym, Ohana Northeast over there. And so, yeah, I try to frequent as much as possible. I'll be there for a couple of weeks after this fight.
Hmm. And I saw that you posted a video with Jonathan Martinez. You know, you guys were hiking up the mountains. Was
Yeah,
that
that's
your
right.
hardest training session of this camp?
No, no, man, that was a walk in the park, bro. That was a cool down session at the camp. I was taking Pedro out though because he just got back. He went back home for his family for a little bit. He's returned to Colorado, and he's got fight in a month, and so I'm actually going to be a part of his corner also. So we were just hitting the road together and breaking that snow in.
Awesome, awesome. And speaking of like next week, you know, you train with Coach Mark Montoya and the great team at Factory X. So, what does the schedule look like for next week?
Dude, next week's a party, bro. I love fight week. I fucking love fight week. It's a celebration. It's just abundant gratitude, you know, for 5 days leading into the fight, soaking in everything you've learned, digesting it, and just getting as close uh, to feeling, you know, as godlike as possible. Honestly, I just want supreme confidence going in there. Um, and also magnanimity in the sense of like being kind to yourself and just sort of being forgiving of any situations. You know, sometimes shit might happen at the airport, sometimes hiccups might happen at the hotel, sometimes hiccups might happen within your camp or with your opponent, and so you're just keeping a cool neutral head the whole time, and you're just enjoying it, man. You're enjoying the process. This time we've got two other guys, Vince Cachero and Dustin Jacoby, and we're
Awesome.
gonna be duking it out over the bonuses. You know, it's gonna be a battle of who gets those 50Ks between the three of us, and so yeah, it's just a great time, fight week, man. I have a blast.
Hmm. And you know, with the camp switch from Ohana to Factory X, you know, I think there was like a mental switch in you as well. You know, with the Drew Dober fight to the great with the fight with Chris.
Yeah,
I can't say his last
Grutzmacher.
name. Chris,
Yeah,
yeah,
Grutzmacher.
Grutzmacher. You know, on Halloween, you know, you flatlined him. Uh, like, what can you say about that mental switch? Was it the Fleetwood Mac? Was it Mark Montoya? Like, what led to the switch?
Man, a little bit of everything. You know, Fleetwood definitely had a contribution to that for sure. So, you know, um, back home, you know, all my guys from day one, and despite being extremely qualified within their facet, you know, within their martial art, I never had like an MMA general. So I was always kind of my own captain and my own. You know, Jason Arrington was my head coach, but really he was a ground specialist. And so when it was up to coming up with a game plan for the fight, or it was up to blending or any of that, it just kind of fell on my shoulders. So I was kind of writing my own schedules. That camp, I was my own strength and conditioning coach. A lot of things just kind of got a little haywire, and I was wearing too many hats. It felt like as a fighter, and I never had experienced having like a central general, you know,
Hmm.
like in Mark Montoya. So coming there and being with a guy who's done it before hundreds of times and who saw something in me, I saw something right back. And man, we hit it off like milk and honey. And so we've just been growing together since, and it keeps showing. It's evident in the performances. Like you said, it was that Dober fight. It was night and day between the two guys that showed up in that octagon, and I almost don't even like. That almost just feels like the strangest blimp of time to me. Like that whole initial COVID experience and the mayhem that was my camp, and then going into that fight, it's like I couldn't even identify with myself when I walked in that cage, and it's probably one of the only times I ever felt like, man, I probably, I just didn't have the certainty in my step or in my hands or anything, going into that cage, and it just feels like the most like strange dream, like just a blimp that happened, and I took it for what it was, and I made the changes I needed to make, and now we're on the right course, and having Montoya, having Andre Miller in Oregon, who's a mobility and mind coach. And then having the teammates I have, and of course the boys back home who taught me everything I know up to this point. It's just the next step. It's just evolution in the game. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this next one.
And from your last fight, you entered the octagon a lot more relaxed. You're a lot more flowy. You have more fun in there.
So to the Fleetwood stance. Yeah, before I would try to get so hyped. I mean, you know me, you follow me, and so I don't fuck about, and I take things so seriously, and I'm my harshest critic. I've always been, and that's kind of where that idea of like being kind to myself came about, because it was like, man, I could be doing 10 things right, but if one thing goes wrong, I'm in my head like, how could you let that single thing go fucking south? Why would you do that? And I would dwell in it too much, and so sometimes the music I was listening to, I try to get too hyped. I was, I was always just trying to get up, just trying to get hyped and get in it. And I realized that's not it. That's just not it. It's better to be neutral. It's better to be cool, better to be composed, better to be just calm in the moment. And I started like really jamming and enjoying some Fleetwood while making some French toast in the mornings. And I was like, man, this is the button for me. So I started just jamming to that every day to the gym, and I was feeling it, just like that whole album. And I just kind of like started letting go. I started flowing. I stopped trying so goddamn hard. I stopped. I just stopped with all these like wild expectations of myself, and just started going in and being present in the moment. And it showed. I popped off, and so that's kind of like what I've been trying to sustain, and grow into.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Fleetwood Mac as well. Is it safe to say that you're gonna walk out to another Fleetwood song?
I don't know. I think I got a different banger this time. I think I got a different banger. You have to see it. Yeah, something I was thinking about.
You're not gonna you're not gonna release the song until fight.
I won't. No, you'll hear it. It's very much an in the moment kind of experience. So yeah, you gotta wait for the moment.
Gotcha. So you're gonna return again.
What part of Texas are you in?
So right now I'm 1 hour north of Dallas. Yeah.
Okay,
area.
so yeah, it's a shitstorm over there for sure, right? Everything Dallas might be even worse than San Antonio and Austin, man. That's crazy, dude. Crazy week for sure.
Yeah, and we haven't seen this cold ever in our town, and it's funny too because I'm so lucky right now because our power hasn't went out in this week. I feel like everybody around us has, but we've had our power on, so I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, that's huge. And no water shortages or anything?
Yeah, no. At least not in my house yet.
Yeah, that's what got scary. That's when it got a little unsettling for everybody was when the water stopped for a lot of households, and that stopped kind of being a game with everybody snowboarding in the streets and shit. So I'm glad that's turned around for sure.
How cold is it over there in Colorado?
Today, dude, it's fucking beaming outside, bro. It's hotter than hell. It's 51 degrees, but the sun's like cooking me, and it feels like it's fucking 80. Colorado's funny like that, man. We're so high and it's so bright when that sun's out that like last week it was 8 degrees out, but I could have ran with a shirt off, with the sun's kicking like that. So it's different out here, man. There's no humidity, and so the lack of moisture in the air, you don't really see ice like you do in Texas. And again, the sun's just so present most of the time. So it's just different. It's a different kind of cold. But when it gets overcast, it gets cold for sure. It gets cold.
And I want to talk about your next fight. Thiago Moises, very good jiu-jitsu practitioner. What do you think of him as an opponent? He last submitted Michael Johnson, and then Bobby Green as he went to decision with Bobby Green. What do you think of him as an opponent going forward?
Uh, he's game. I think he's done well in accruing the wins he has. I just don't think I don't. I almost don't even believe that he has the merit for those wins. Like the Johnson victory, kind of pulled it out in the second round with that. What I thought was kind of like a weak attempt at a heel hook, and Michael just
Hmm.
kind of woke up clueless and had no idea. He just sort of watched the process happen and didn't know how to respond, and it was like he never seen somebody attack his foot before, and so that's just completely that's a whole different world than what he would see with me. And then with the Bobby Green fight, I thought Bobby looked, Bobby normally shows up, and I thought he looked a little flat that fight, and Thiago did need to do what he needed to do to win. But again, I'm not impressed. I know he's a threat. I know he's dangerous. I know he's won caliber fights in a row now, and done so, with some big finishes. And so he definitely gets the stamp of approval for a fight. But I don't see him. I don't see him as a threat outside of a puncher's chance like any professional's got. So I'm not expecting anything. I plan to go out there just like I did in the last fight and just execute, put into practice what I've been working on, and if it goes to the ground, then hooray for me. And if it's on the feet, even more satisfying. So whatever, either direction, I'm good.
Hmm. And you said that you're going to go bonus hunting this fight. Do you have like a round in mind that you want to finish it, or do you think it might be a 3-round war?
Uh, I'm trying to be less and less of the guy calling, the rounds just to CC expectation, but it's really, really, really hard for me not to believe I won't finish it in one round. So, if I were a betting man, I would put the money in the first round. But again, going in there, just cool and composed.
Awesome, awesome. Can't wait for that fight too. And one thing I've seen from 2020, you had to prepare for a guy in Islam Makhachev. Then you also prepared and fought Drew Dober, and now they're fighting against each other.
Yeah,
Having
that's an exciting
prepared
fight,
for
man.
having prepared for both of them, who do you see taking that fight?
Uh, well, I guess I prepared for Islam. Really didn't get to prepare for Dober, but in fighting one and seeing the other, it's a matter of if Drew can stay on the feet. I made a lot of just simple mistakes when I was on the ground, and it was just some of the inexperience just in my corner and whatnot, and in myself, and we were a little too brash and eager to strike and pass. Where I think Islam, should he take him down, is going to do a really good job of cooking him on the ground, holding position and killing some time and getting some damage and waiting for him to expose himself, which is very doable against Drew in the open. He's a rock against the cage, but in the open, I definitely take him down, you know, pretty smoothly. But Drew is by far a better striker than Islam. So if he can just go to work on his feet the way he did, keeps showing the performances that he has. He's evolved his game to a whole nother level, working with Gaethje and everyone over there. And if he's able to execute, I think Islam will have a hard time. But again, should Islam get him on the ground, I think he can spend the better part of a round there and win. So it'll be an exciting fight. Definitely be a striker versus a grappler.
Hmm. And speaking of the Dober fight too, I feel like a lot of people don't focus on your wrestling during that fight. You got Dober down twice, and those are pretty solid takedowns as well. And we've seen, you're more known for your striking, but you have really great wrestling. You out wrestled OAM, I think in like 2018. Do you think your wrestling is kind of underrated? Like, do you think people look past it?
Um, I don't know. I got pretty good stats in the video game, so I'm happy with that. I don't know what people say. Um, as far as the grappling goes, I feel really well balanced though, and even in this fight against Moises, I'll blast him. I'll take him. I'll blast double the fuck out of him, take him down. Like I'm not worried about going to the ground at all, and I can do that. I can do that on a whim's notice, and I don't believe he can do that to me. So I think that it just hasn't been seen enough, and in the past, like take this running fight for instance, a lot of it was impulsive, and even in the Dober fight, some of those shots were real clean, but others were, kind of impulsive, irrational shots that I was taking out desperation because, maybe I'm boxing one moment and then I'm wrestling the next moment, and I'm kickboxing the next moment. And that's just me trying to fucking piecemeal it together on my own. And that's been one of the greatest evolutions at Factory X is the blend. I really believe that I'm on my way to being the best at blending in the division in the UFC. And what I mean by that is really to mix between, your striking and your grappling and your jiu-jitsu. So more to come on that.
Awesome. And somebody that I've seen, rising through the ranks is a guy that you beat in your UFC debut. I think you had a week's notice to beat Beneil Dariush, by first round knockout. But what can you say about his success? And you think he deserves to fight a top contender after his last performance?
Yeah, for sure, he deserves the top 5 guy, man. That guy's, talk about resilience and the mind and heart of a champion. Kind of hit a rut and then recalibrated mentally and went to work, and now he's on this incredible spree. I was blown away that last fight was a split decision against Diego Ferreira. I thought it was a very clear, unanimous. He's a grinder, and an impressive one at that. And that's someone that I would, that I learned from and look to see how he did it, and I think he's obviously ready for a top 5 guy. He's top of the heat.
And talking about the rankings, do you think a win next weekend will put you back in the top 15 rankings? Because you were in I think you were number 11 for some time. So do you think that puts you right back in the mix?
I don't know. Probably not. I think me and Moises are probably sitting around the same spot, but neither are ranked. And so there's so much heat. And now you got fucking Chandler who just dropped in the pot too. So he's now ranked. And, I think it would take another victory to get back in the rankings. And again, I'm really worried about the hierarchy. I want to keep building the way I'm building and do it the right way. The first time I was just so overzealous to get to the top, and I was unequipped for it. And so that this time, we're armed and ready, and we're taking the road less traveled, the long road, but it's the right road for me. So this fight, probably another fight, maybe that'll be a top 15 opponent, or maybe another one. Doesn't matter. I want to have an extremely active year this year.
And I believe you fought both at the UFC Apex and on Fight Island. Which one do you prefer to go to?
Yeah, well, Fight Island, I was actually just there with the homie Brandon. I was in his corner, and that was an awesome experience. Shit, it would have been cool to fight there because, man, they treat you like a champion after those fights. That is an awesome experience. We had a great time there, just acting like assholes together, and it was a great time. But I love the Apex. There's something modest and homely about it, and it just feels like a quaint place of solitude to go to work, and that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want.
Are you gonna hit up any casinos after the win on
No,
Saturday?
no. I'm not a gambling man. I've taken too many L's in that department. I thought I knew the fight game there for a minute. I had a few hot streaks, and then I crumbled. And God, I hate throwing money away like that, man. There's nothing that, I'll be, even if you got the money, I'll be upset for days about just throwing a few $100s away. And so, because you just know what it's worth. And so for me, I don't like to do that, but I will be acting nasty though that night for sure. I'll be out there in the wild. Catch me with some strangers fucking chonas on my head. I'll be running wild, making a muck out there in Vegas. So yeah,
Nice.
read the papers the next day. Yeah.
Got it. What are you gonna do with the 50K bonus?
I don't know, man. Maybe get some exotic animals or something this time. I've been real smart with the money this far. Maybe I'll, tigers are pretty easy to come by in Texas.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, Mike Tyson has a tiger. Could be
I know.
Alexander Hernandez of a tiger. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
I probably want something else, like maybe a puma. Maybe that puma bad boy, or maybe keep it simple. Like a fucking otter. Because I mean, that's like a little sea puppy right there. So maybe something light and friendly like that. I don't know. Maybe get aquatic. We'll see what's up. See what my guy has in store at that time.
Hmm. When your career is like all said and done, when you have a lot of money in the bank, like what are some of your dreams like long term? Are you gonna have a zoo? Are you gonna have your own like another gym? Like what are some bigger picture ideas that you have in mind?
I hate it because I've been thinking this since forever ago, and I guess everybody has the same thoughts. But man, I want this liquor empire, dude. I've been thinking for like ever, and again, thing that every successful guy thinks about is like, let's get some liquor. But even what would be even sicker would be a dispensary. I want some kind of a big chain like that, like some kind of. I'm more of a marijuana guy myself, but one or the other would be pretty awesome. A number of real estate holdings and a few good Ohana academies would be the ideal. So
Awesome. What would you name your
maybe buy a fucking
dispensary?
horse. Maybe get horse racing, dude. That's a real lavish white guy thing to do when you make it to the top. I guess buy a horse, start racing it. That's South Americans like that. So I don't know.
Awesome. What would you name your dispensary? Like if you had one, like would it be like Alex the Great Dispensary or like what would it be?
I don't know, dude. Twisted Tops. I don't even know. That's a great question, man. That's a good question on the spot too. I don't know. Eyes Wide Shut might be the name of it. Yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
I'd have to think of some shit. I don't know.
Well, it was great talking to you. I think that's all the questions I had. Just thank you again for taking the time, and best of luck to
Sure.
you next week.
For sure, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate the time and consideration. Have a good one.
And if you're ever in Dallas too, hit me up, man.
1,000%, dude. Bless up to Texas, bro. Texas boys,
Sounds good, man.
Northwest State. All right, I'll see you, dog.
See ya.